Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? Good day, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are joining us from. Can you just type in the chat your name and where you are joining from? Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, irrespective of where you are joining from. So happy to have many people on board on night. Yeah, you can also do well to share with others so they know that we are on and we are starting the webinar now. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm happy that you're able to join in. Mr. Theophilus, you're welcome. Ijeoma, you're welcome. Olalekan, you're welcome. Olivia, welcome. Imo, you're welcome. Hope you're welcome. I'm so happy you guys joined tonight, and I know many other people will also join us in HEV. But without not further ado, I'm going straight into the webinar for tonight. So tonight is basically bringing you updates on what Canada immigration is and how we have been able to also help people, especially from Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, to immigrate successfully to Canada, and the routes that are currently available, which you can be able to harness uh, to be able to make your immigration come true, and what steps you have to make. Okay, so we're going to continue very shortly as I just get my slides on so that I'll be able to follow you through and put you through how all this process and the steps to take. So there are immigration routes that we are going to show. Very important one includes AIP, which is the Atlantic Immigration Program. We have the RCIP, which is like the Rural Community Immigration Program. We have the PNP, which is the Provincial Nomination Program, a subset of express entry. We also have study routes. We also have some other routes that are not currently on ground, like the Home Care Worker Pilot Program and some others like that. But today we are just basically focusing on the ones that I've just stated, the ones that are ongoing, and how you can be able to leverage these routes to make your dream come true. All right. So that said, let me quickly move on and run you through the pilot programs that are available and the steps to be able to take to be able to get these things right. Okay. So to start with, let me start with the first, which is the Rural Community Immigration Program. So this Rural Community Immigration Program has been on for a while now. It's basically an opportunity for rural areas in Canada to be able to recruit foreign workers. So some of those rural areas are not as rural as many people put it, because I must tell you, many of those rural areas are even far better than the likes of Lagos or Abuja or Kumasi or Mombasa, as you might have it. Some of these rural areas are very, very, very um, modern, and they have all the facilities that you might need. So the opportunity is the fact that there are many urban areas like Toronto, Ontario, Ottawa. These areas are more developed, and by virtue of that, there are many competitions, so to say, or like there are many opportunities for them to be able to fill their workers. But these rural areas are often deprived. You don't have many people going there. So that's an opportunity for foreign workers like yourself to be able to fill in the gap and be able to leverage that opportunity to get on board. So this Rural Community Immigration Program, as one of the pilot programs that the IRCC, that's Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship of Canada, announced earlier in the year, so that they can use it to bring. Another one is a Francophone community program too. That one is basically for people that are interested in Quebec. So if you have French proficiency, you can reach out to us after the webinar. We'll explain that. But that's not the major focus of this webinar. That's for people that are very, very proficient in French and you can work in French. So there are very little people, but the opportunities is great if you can speak French. But we're focusing more on the English focused community for this webinar. So RCIP is currently on. You can be able to get through. So what are the basic requirements? The major requirement is that you should be able to get a job in designated area. So what are those designated area? Those kind of area are some rural areas, like I said, but not necessarily exclusively remote. Some of them are even in Ontario. Some of you have heard of Ontario. So we have some communities in Ontario that have designated RCIP. For example, Thunder Bay in Ontario is designated it. So some of there are areas even in British Columbia that are also in RCIP. We also have areas like Alberta. There's one community we call Claresholm in Alberta that also uh, covers RCIP. So what basically is this RCIP? So if you're able to get a job that covers for RCIP, if you get a job, so these jobs can either be in maybe less other area, modern urban areas, or in the rural areas. If it's the urban area, you have the option of what we call LMIA. That LMIA is Labor Market Impact Assessment. So Labor Market Impact Assessment is a certificate that the government gives uh, eligible employers to give to their employees, intended employees that want to come over. So it's that LMIA that you use to process your visa and all. So if you have a job offer from those kind of urban areas, you get it. You will get your employer can file you LMIA and use that to bring you in. On the other hand, if you get employment in these programs, Thunder Bay, Ontario, Mary, Ontario, or some areas in British Columbia, some areas in those kind of remote areas, what you just do is that the community gives you a filing. Some of those jobs there are some that require healthcare. There are some that require things like supervisory work, like security. Some are more into agriculture. Some are into skilled trades. Some are into construction also. So some of those jobs, if you're able to get them, um, you be able to file for the RCIP through there. But the difference in RCIP over LMI is that RCIP leads directly to permanent residence. So once they're able to help you file that, you get an invitation to come to Canada as a permanent resident. So you have a job already and you are coming with your family or your dependents, as the case may be, and getting to Canada as a permanent resident. So it's faster that way. On the other hand, if it is LMIA, you get what we call temporary work permit. So that temporary work permit means that you get a job, you get the offer, you get all the requirements, but on the other hand, you only allowed to work in Canada for a specific number of time. Yes, so it can be 3 years, at most it can be 5 years, depending on your employer's agreement. So they are trying to use LMIs as an opportunity that they are bringing you in on a temporary basis to fill a short skill shortage. So if you're able to get in within that period, good, you get in, and within that space of 2 to 3 years, or as the case may be, you can use that to also upgrade your permit to a higher one, either permanent residence or you get study or you get some other permits. You understand? So those are the options that you have. But if you're able to get RCIP, you get direct permanent residence. So that's very, very interesting part about permanent residence. So permanent RCIP is community led, and you need to get that job offer. So you need to have your credentials ready, your certificates ready, in order to be able to pull it and be able to get it. So that's the major thing you need to get with the RCIP. Now, let me just quickly run you through the paths to permanent residence in quick brief. Before that, let me also try to explain what we know as PMP. So because it's quite related, um, and I want to distinguish it. So PMP is called Provincial Nominating Program. So PMP is basically a subset of Express Entry. Like Express Entry, it's a point-based system. So in that point-based system, they are going to rank you based on your credentials, educational credentials. They're going to rank based on your proficiency, either in English or in French. They're going to rank you based on age. They're also going to rank you based on your experience, whether you have a Canadian experience or you have outside country experience in your own country. But how does that experience in your own country translate to this? So they are going to rate you based on that and give you what we call CRS. So CRS is the comprehensive ranking system. They rank you based on that, and based on your points, there is going to be draws subsequently. It could be sometimes in months, it could be sometimes. So when those draws come out, when those draws come out, you get to see the ones that you can actually apply for. Do you get? You get to see the ones you can apply for, and once you're able to get those ones you can apply for, you're able to get them on board. You understand? So those are things that are actually very, very necessary for you to get in. So the PMP also has a draw. Now, interestingly, I'm going to probably tell you this later on. How you can, even if you don't have high points, you can actually get into the express entry, and they can through the express entry, because when you are filling your form, they will ask you what are the communities or the provinces that you are interested in. Through that, you can also get called for your PMP, even with a low score. Because once they call you from the province, you have an added score of probably like 300, 400 additional. So that will automatically even boost your points in the express entry and you get ranked. So these are options that are available, but I'm going to explain that more in a jiffy. So the path to permanent residence, you need to find an eligible job, you need to get the job offer, you get your community recommendation, and then from there you apply for PR. It's as simple as that. All right, so there are job requirements. It has to be full time. Um, the and for some of you that are already in our job update community, you notice that most of the jobs we order are verified ones, minimum of 30 hours per week, and you have them. Some of them are designated employers. If it says you can confirm from us, but all of them are visa sponsored, which means that they are either probably LMIA designated or RCIP designated or some other pilot program designated, but they are offers that are actually open to non-Canadians for them to come in. Now, the issue with it is that many people apply with either non-fitting credentials, maybe your CV is not up to standard or not, or you kind of find yourself in a loop of C's. So these employers try to screen a lot of applications, and they only try to select the ones that are fitting for them. So sometimes it can be very competitive, and sometimes you may not even hear from them if they see that they've moved on with the application. So you just give it like 2 to 3 months. If you don't hear from them, you move on. So all these things are very much involved. But very importantly, also you need to ensure you have your skills match. So some people apply with generic CVs that you have probably in Nigeria and just send it to them. Those things don't work. They won't fly. So you need CVs that are tailored. So for example, maybe you've worked as a being supervisor in Nigeria. You also worked as a probably at one time you worked as a teacher. Probably at one time you worked as a assistant somewhere, and then you just combine everything in your CV and you apply. Now compare that to somebody that is applying for uh, a construction supervisor. And in the person's CV, the person has already worked as a project manager, the person worked as a construction supervisor, the person now is working as a senior construction supervisor, and the person is applying for the same job. Who will they pick? So they will likely pick the person that they consider as most fit for the job. So that's in fact that if you are going for any skill or any job, you need to consider whether it's competitive, you need to consider whether it's something that is viable, whether it's something that is working, whether it's something that is in move. So what are those high in demand jobs that you are seeing being posted? Try to get certifications for those kind of jobs. Try to get those skills that are required for those jobs. It is those things that will be very, very important in making your applications fly. And then the way you emphasize those things on your resume or your applications really matter. Show them, because Canadian employers are more skill focused. They really want to know that you are able to do the job. They really want to know that you can get these things done. They really want to know that you are equipped, well equipped. So you need to package all those in your applications and ensure you make it good. All right. Finding RCIP jobs. So not only RCIP, you can also get other jobs, but I'm focusing on RCIP because that's like the hot in demand immigration routes now. And some of the people in our community, to the glory of God, have been able to get it. And that's one of the things I'm also trying to push so that other people also can, be able to also get that opportunity and leverage on it and also use it to move on. So you can get it on community websites. So there are some community websites, maybe Ontario, Saskatchewan, as the case may be. You can search online and get to their website and see what they are currently um, offering and how you can be able to leverage those things. You can also leverage Canadian job boards. We have Canada Job Bank, we have Indeed, we have Glassdoor, we have some sites like monster.ca, which you can also check for job sites. So we try to screen some of these sites. We share some of them in our communities, but you should not be limited to that. You can check online too. Check all these job boards for opportunities that you can see, that you can harness, and the ones that you can also leverage on in order to get your work done. Do you get? So, but ensure you cross-check those things, ensure you get offers, and ensure that um, you don't give up on what you get. So you try to ensure that you keep um, tabs on what you do and what you're out to. All right. So also you can get it on direct employer sites. There are some of the employers that post it on their websites. In fact, some of them may not even post it on job boards, but there are some of those websites, Canadian websites, they are looking for it. So for example, let's say you might notice that there are some jobs that we post that we feel might appeal to general audience, but probably your own type of job or your own NOC code is a special one, and you don't get the jobs regularly. Just search online, employers in this particular community searching for your particular type of job, so you can be able to get some of those things. Now, those things may not be common, but the truth of the matter is, it's in those uncommon places that you actually get to see uncommon opportunities. So compared to job boards or job sites, when many people are applying to those places, many people are applying to it. But if you're able to get a community or a company that you can work with or you can target, check their career pages, check if they have an offer. And some of them, even if they are not actively, some of them might say, might give you opportunity as a non-Canadian to come and work for them if they're able to see you are bringing a lot of value. So please, I will admonish that you be proactive in your search. Don't give up and don't expect that everything will be smooth. It's not going to be smooth. Whether you are joining from Nigeria or Ghana or Kenya, you notice that even in your country, getting a job is not easy, right? Not to not talk of in another man's land. So it's also not going to be easy, but it's not impossible. That's the point. People are getting it, and those people that are getting don't have to wait. So you can get it as well, but you just have to be proactive in your search and um, and then ensure that uh, you're able to put it through. So at this point, I want to admonish that you keep your questions coming and drop them in the chat. At the end of the webinar, I will have opportunity to be able to answer them. Okay. All right. So please just ensure you drop them in the chat as we move on. Okay. Yeah, let's move on. So what are the key immigration one? I've explained LMIA, that's the labor market impact assessment. Another one is AIP. I mentioned it briefly, but let me explain that one better. So Atlantic immigration program is another very late, one of the latest new routes that people are actually pushing through right now. So it's a Canadian immigration pathway, especially designed for Atlantic areas like New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, then Newfoundland and Labrador. So these areas are what we call the Atlantic provinces. So these areas is a special route you can use to get permanent residence in this area. So it does not require CRS score, unlike the express entry, but it requires you to get a valid job offer. I get me. It requires you to get a valid job offer from employer, and they want to see that you are interested in settling down in those provincial areas. Do you get? So there are some areas they look out for, maybe like the food service, Some of them look out for it. The healthcare always occur in virtually all the pathways. They also look out for construction work sectors too. Then administrative sectors too also can use these things. So I will advise that your focus should not be on whether it's AIP, whether it's RCIP, whether it's you just apply. When you get the job offer, you can now begin to see which one fits which pathway. But whether it's LMIA, AIP, or the but whichever way, most of these things require you to get a job offer first, then before you apply for permanent residency. All right. Now, on the other hand, express entry. Express entry is the federal. We have the federal skilled worker. We have the Canadian Express. A Canadian Express is for those that probably you have Canadian experience. Maybe you've studied, for example, maybe you go for your master's or you go for a short course, and then you want to use that to cross into permanent resident. You apply for Canadian Express class. Do you get? So, but on the other hand, um, Canadian Express entry requires you to have a CRS score. So in this CRS score, you need to evaluate your credentials. You need to evaluate your work experience. You need to ensure that you are in an NOC code. So look out for categories that are less competitive and try to apply to those. So some cutoff mark points can be like around 534. On September 3rd, we recently had a recent draw. That's for under the express entry for Canadian Express class. 1,000 people were invited to apply. And then all those things, give opportunity. If you are in the draw at that point and you got up to that point, you get opportunity of coming in. So also on September 2nd, we had provincial nominee program. So that is another subset of the CRS. It also uses CRS core. So, but the opportunity is that this one is provincial based. So the one that happened on September 2nd, 249 people were invited to apply. And if you were able to get through the provincial nominee, it adds like up to 600 points additional. So, which means that if you're able to get an offer from the province, you add it to the express entry, you get a huge point. So with that, they will send you an ITA, which is an invitation to apply. So now let me tell you the story of a woman we helped and her spouse. She was applying for nursing assistance and care. So she was applying. She's initially scored 349, which was a little lower than average cutoff. So she pulled out when she saw that she didn't score very high. She pulled out of the express entry. But we encourage her. She also learned from other people online. Some people discourage that was the essence. But we encourage her, why not just put in, try, at least. You just don't know what will happen. Just keep up at it. Luckily for her, she put it back in. Just 3 days after she put it back in, she didn't still there was no draw during those 3 days. There was no federal draw. But there was not a provincial nominee. Lucky for her, Ontario called OINP. We call it OINP, Ontario Immigration Nominee Program. They called her, they sent her ITA. It was doing her like a dream. Like, I've been in express entry for many months. They didn't call me. Then we didn't see them receiving it. So she was even thinking she was fake. So she shared with us. I said, no, this is not fake. This is real. Ensure that you apply. They've invited you to apply. Ensure you apply. Ensure you send your documentation. Like play. She sent in all her documentation. They invited her because by that provincial nomination, our score jumped up to almost 900. And then they called her for permanent resident. She was able to move in with her spouse. In fact, at that point, her spouse they were not married. They were just engaged. But there is a way that Canada allows you to come with they call it law in partner. As far as you have legal binding, that, okay, this person, I'm committed to this person. They were not even officially married then. And that's how they moved in. They moved into Canada as both permanent residents. But luckily for her, another thing I also helped her was that her husband didn't even scale through, but our husband also put in for the express entry, she also did this IELTS and WES. So they added their points together and she was able to scale through. What do I want to point out from there is that you don't know what works. Sometimes you may score low, but we still encourage people to put in. Now, some people will say, oh, my age, I'm over 40, I don't have enough. But the point is that even at over 40, you still have points for your study, you still have points for your, especially if you have masters, if you have other things that can boost your points, or you have a spouse that can also write IELTS and WES, and they can add their points to yours, or you can try to put in for IELTS, study for it, and score a very good point. You know, those things can work for you. So it's not something that you should do, especially if you are targeting areas like health, education, skilled trades, construction, engineering. These things are moving, or you are very proficient in French especially, admonish, because there are some programs, like I said, that are for French people, but I'm not discussing that in this webinar. So if you know you are very proficient in French, please meet us afterwards to discuss. There are some programs that we recommend for you. Very, very important. So these draws are very important. And if you have lower, you can even still have opportunity to to get it through. Okay, someone is asking what ICRS. I think I explained that earlier. That's comprehensive ranking score. So comprehensive ranking score. So that's like what you use for your express entry and your PMP. So it's they will score you. So you can have like 530. If you score above 530, you have competitive scores. If you score lower than 500, it could be maybe, but the options are still there. So I want to advise you to pull out. I will still advise you to still be in that draw. You don't know what might happen. There can just be suddenly crash in the CRS score and they will call you. And they might even give you might be in a category. So that's one of the reasons why we admonish that you also consult, because some of those things you can belong to just NOC code that they don't call. But if you belong to special category draws, some of those categories are being drawn often and you can be one of them. So please be on the lookout for that. All right. So also we have study pathway. So study is a very, 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 very straightforward path. Let me put it that way. Very, very straightforward. Which means that if you do all it takes, you'll get it. It's not like PR that sometimes the competition is high. Like once you are able to get all it takes to do study, you get it right. But what are the downsides? The downsides is that you have to ensure that for study route, you need enough proof of fund. That's one of the downsides. You need strong proof of fund. They recently increased the uh, uh, proof of fund a little bit um, for those that want to study, but it's not impossible. Like I mentioned, it's not impossible. So it's not something hard. Currently, the proof of fund is about 22,000, almost 900, 22, almost 22,900 Canadian dollars. Before it was formerly 20,635 Canadian dollars. So they increased it a little bit, but there's a way around it. So for some people that are interested to know, we can get you loan, we can facilitate opportunities for you to prove your financial ties. We can do that for you if you are very much interested in study. So if you are interested in study, is something you can explore. So another advantage of study is that study gives you opportunity to gain Canadian experience. That's another advantage. So once you're able to get study, even study may not be what you want, but you just getting through study. When you are studying, you can work part-time. You can begin to get employers that will know your skills, see what you can do. And then once you are done with your study, whether it's 1 year, you can do a 1 year course. Does not matter the area. Even in fact, I recommend, many people used to look at Toronto as Toronto is a very popular city for study, but that's not the only city you have opportunity. There are other areas like Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick. You get those places. We even have partners with institutions in UNB, that's University of New Brunswick. You get those people, they will give you very low tuition. You can cover it up, get inside within 1 year, get their community, get to their RCIP. 2 years, you get your permanent residence. Within 4, 5 years, you're already a citizen. It's like the pathway through that route is very straightforward. Very straightforward. Very straightforward. So if it's something I will admonish that you really look into that. It's a very, very good opportunity to harness If that is something you have interest in, you can also let us know. So what are the things you need to consider when you're applying? If you're applying to those RCIP, you need language test results, IELTS. If you are doing study, you don't need IELTS. You don't, because they consider some countries like Nigeria, Ghana as English-speaking countries, so you don't have to use your IELTS. But if you are from a country that is maybe like Cameroon, that you are not so proficient in English, you might need to write IELTS for study. But nonetheless, if you are doing if you are considering permanent residence route, you still need to write IELTS to show you are proven English. All alternatives to IELTS, there are some alternatives. So if you are not so good in, maybe you've done IELTS, you are not so good in IELTS, or you just wish to have cheaper options or that, but non-popular options. There are also options. You can take CLP. Then this year, Canada is also accepting PT. So you can use PT core as well. You understand? So those are options you can do. Then for French, for those targeting Francophone immigration streams, you can use TEF Canada or TCF. You can do those proficiency tests to show you are very good in French. And interestingly, their cutoff mark for those ones are relatively low compared to English. So you have higher proof of fund. So you get. So also you need proof of fund forms. So sometimes when you are doing your ITA, they ask you to show that you have proof of fund to cater for your maybe your first month or so. You need to show your proof of fund. Some people happened that when they don't consult, they just go, they apply, they go like that, and they deny them visa. Why? They lack proof of fund. So they say, they don't have. Now, many of these immigration visas also know that your Nigerian currency is low compared to the Canadian dollars. They know that, but you need to be able to show it. So we try to plan ahead, and that's why if you consult with us, we plan you ahead. So months before that time, we ensure that you have funds or ties, maybe like your land or assets that can show that you are able to support yourself. Alternatives too, you can get loans. So we have partners that do loan facility. They can arrange loan for you, and when you get to Canada, you return back their money to them. So they have those kind of facilities that they do in order to just fund you meantime. And when you get there and you are settled, you return back the money. So those opportunities are very much there. You get even there are some loans that take up to 10 years for you to pay back. There are opportunities like that. And for people that also need proof of fund, let us know so that we can help you. You need Canadian standard resume. I can't overemphasize that. Very, very important. And cover letter. So don't just send your resume. You have to distinguish yourself among pools of consultants. You have to distinguish yourself among proof of consultant. So we have ECA. You have to do your educational credential or WES. Now, many of these things require payments in foreign currency, Canadian dollars, and they might require you to use your card or things like that. If you need help, consult with us. We also facilitate foreign exchange payment, so we can also assist you in doing exchange rates and help you pay for some of these fees. Maybe you want to pay for your West. West now is around 256 Canadian dollars. We can help you do the payment and ensure delivery for that. So we can do that easily for you. So those are opportunities I would like you to harness. All right, so let's talk about resume and cover letter. Resume and cover letter, um, you can use that um, for all your applications. Like I earlier mentioned, it should not be it's not a Nigerian thing. So you should not make it your nationality style. The way it is different. So what are some of the things you need to have? No photos. It must emphasize your skills and not just scattered skill like there. It should be formatted skills for the job you're applying to. There's what we call keyword. There's what we call ATS. That's a applicant tracking system. So they use this system to check your. So before they even call you for interview, they use this system to check whether you even meet up or not. You have to ensure you have those things. You have to ensure you have core format. You have to ensure you mention some of the pilot programs or things like I am open to immigration. You mention some of those things. So depending on the route you are planning to, let them know you are not just applying from Nigeria or applying from Ghana or wherever you are. Let them know that you are not just applying, you are interested in coming over there to come and serve them. So there are way you craft these things. There are way you craft your cover letter to know that you have track record of working in this route of working on this experience. You have been able to work here and there. And when you are working there, what were your achievements? You were able to improve their customer service and increase their revenue by 30%. You increase those actions, what things you did, what you achieved. And by so doing, I also want to apply those kind of skills into your company. I'm hoping to move in Canada in the next 3 months, and I wish to be able to work with a amiable company like yours. When employer reads something like that, they are interested in learning more about you. They will be moved to to give you a call, conduct an interview with you, and from there you can move on. So those are things very necessary. We offer resume services, and for everyone that is on this call, I'll be offering you a 20% discount for our services. If you're able to secure any of our services in the next 7 days, we're giving you 20% off for taking out the time to be able to join this course. So just reach out to us after it. I'm going to drop a link so that anybody can be able to reach out to us uh, after this call. Uh, you can reach out to us and we'll be able to uh, get it. So you can reach out to us either for resume service or you need assistance with getting some of these requirements, we would gladly do that. So you may screenshot it so that you just save it and then we can be able to get. So once you are interested, just reach out to us and tell us what you know. For some of you that came from our group page, we have a particular group page. So I'm an admin there. I also have a partner as an admin on the office. So any of us can attend to you. You understand? Any of us can attend to you, but it will be an opportunity for you to be able to harness this route and ensure that you have a start. Then talking about cover letter, I want to emphasize that don't send your resumes alone. Send your cover letter. Please don't be too lazy. Yes, I know you are very busy and applying to many jobs can be hectic, but please take out the time. Customize your cover. Your resume can be okay. I have an healthcare resume. That's fine. Now, for each of those jobs you're applying to, customize your cover letter. Hello, dear manager at so company. When we are stating job offers, we state their company name, their company address, and what they do. You to state it in your cover letter. Let them know you are intentional about them. Don't just send a generic cover letter. Now, if you are now wanting to, maybe you already have a care assistant resume, you now want to apply for another role entirely, maybe an administrative officer or a medical transcription. It may be a related, but as far as it's different, you need another variation of your resume, not just change the cover letter. Because if you are applying to a job that is probably construction related, but you're applying with a generic engineering resume, you are still not fitting for it. You need to customize that your resume to it. So those are things that you need to consider, but we can also assist you with that. That's why we are here. So I want you to admonish you to consult with us, check on us, and let us see how far we can actually help you with all these routes. We are here for you. And important thing is that in your job, you need to ensure you are eligible for NOC. So you match your experience with eligible NOC codes. So what is NOC? NOC is National Occupation Category. So maybe you worked in Nigeria as a nurse, but which kind of nurse? Is it registered nurse? Is it licensed nurse? So there are some. So in NOC categories in Canada, nurses can be like 10 different categories. So you need to know the right category to apply for. But to take the hassle off you, we can assist you. So some of the ways we also assist is that we have some recommended course. I'm a affiliate partner with some immigration consultants that actually have gone through this part and they've compiled enough resources to be able to guide you through. So some of those things we often recommend that you go through, get those things and be able to go through them in order to get some of these things right, because those things are very explicit, very explanatory, and you're able to get them right. One of the immigration consultants is Sheyi Obasi. Some of you might know her. She handles Canada JAPA system, and our resources are very, very, very exclusive, very, very explanatory, and they are proven systems. Many of our clients too have used them, and they've been able to get through it. Very explanatory. So you just take them, to go through it, and all this NOC code that I'm saying, the list of RCIP communities, the list down to the list of employers that you can target. If you really want to take this thing serious, I would recommend that you go through those resources. They are very, very, very exclusive, very, very detailed. Do you understand? So those are things that are very, very necessary to do. So to wrap up, updates on Canada immigration are, it changes day in, day out. But the highlight of it is that um, now this September now there are some 4 sessions that are doing. So if you are interested in study, winter admission is currently on. So fall has already closed. In fact, fall has already risen, so you can't apply for fall of this year again. But if you are going for winter or spring, winter is like January 2026. Spring is like May 2026. Then fall of 2026, that's like September 2026. If you're applying for this is a good time for you to start gathering your requirements. You just need your credentials and what you can do. Also, we also help apply to other countries, especially if you are going for study. For work, we basically major in Canada. But if you are going for study, we can also help you apply to other countries like UK, like Sweden, like US, irrespective of your credentials. We can help you apply for it. Even if you don't have the money for studies, we have scholarship opportunities that we can recommend for you. There's one scholarship opportunity in Sweden coming up in October. It's 100% funding. And some of the people that get the scholarship even have third class, second class lower. So there are some of these opportunities that you can also harness. But one of the things is that it's not just that you have a class, you have to bring something on the table. You must have probably engaged in your community, you've done some exploits, or you've done some remarkable things. Even in your work, oh, they've promoted you twice, you've achieved this thing, you've contributed this thing. They want to see those things in your application, and those are the things that we do. So we help people write statement of purpose, in befitting for those kind of things. We can assist you as well. So if you're interested in study for 2026, 2025 windows have closed, but if you're interested in 2026, this is a good time to prepare for it. We also assist with loan offers that, like I said, so even if you don't have the money, you can cover some things with scholarship and you can fund your shortages. Okay. Then we have ongoing pilot programs. I've explained RCIP, that's the Rural Community Immigration Program. I've explained Francophone, that's the Francophone Community Immigration Program. Ensure that you harness those opportunities as well. Then we have proof of fund. If you need to get proof of fund rolling, please ensure um, you have that in plan. So, like some people might say, is it not cheap? Traveling out is not cheap, but it's not impossible. So, no matter the little amount you have, you can start from somewhere. You can start from somewhere. So, you don't have to have all the money before you make the move, but you have to start from somewhere. All right. What else? I also okay. Another thing I think I've not mentioned for those from Nigeria, um, international passports have been changing. This September, the Immigration Service of Nigeria have increased their passport fee. But what I want to just say from that is that if you do not have your passport by now, I think I think you have not even started. Don't let me say you are not ready. You have not even started at all. So if you've not gotten your international passport, please ensure you do that. If you don't know how to go about it, you can also reach out to us. We will put you through how to go about it. But that is very, very important for you to have. All right. So that said, I hope I've been able to explain very, very succinct information to you. So if you really enjoyed this information session, please click that like button, like the session, and let me know that you really, really following. If you're not subscribed to our channel, please do it to subscribe to encourage us to be able to do more. And when we also have this kind of webinar, we try to organize this once in a while. You can be able to get immigration updates and be able to assist you better. All right. So I hope you gained some lessons. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, glad some people. All right, so let's move on to question and answer without wasting further time, so that I just run you through questions. If you have questions and answers. All right, so I'm going through the chat now. Let me see. Let me see the questions we have. Okay, let me see the questions we have. All right. So, how to find caregiver jobs with visa sponsorship? All right. So, I've explained that uh, we have a platform, a WhatsApp platform. If you've not joined our WhatsApp platform, just reach out to us for consultation and tell us that you like to join our group. We'll add you. But it's not only limited to our group. You have Canadian Job Bank. You can search for it. You can search for indeed.ca. You can get some jobs from there too. You can search for monster.ca. You can get jobs too. But there are some other sites that resources that you can get access to know jobs that are actually designated employers, and that's why I will gladly recommend Sheyi Obasi's work permits handbook for you. She has all those designated employers you can reach out and how to reach out to them. Very, very detailed. Just reach out to us to know what you want, and we'll be able to send you the link to that. So those areas are very, very possible you can get. Then we also have recommended RCIP programs too that you can get. So those are ways you can get caregiver jobs. For those of you on the group, we try to post jobs regularly as soon as we verify some of them. All of the ones we post on our groups are visa sponsored. Yeah, they're all visa sponsored. So just apply and keep the best at your group. All right. So someone is asking, what is the current status of Clarisrum AB in RCIP pathway? Yeah, so like I mentioned, Clarisrum is RCIP is that's one of uh, the rural community program. So they launched in April 2025. That's when they launched, and they had the allocation. So they are one of the communities that have labor shortages. Okay, so some of the uh, occupations include healthcare, manufacturing, agriculture, education, and as well. That's so. If you are interested, if you have any of this category, you can actually look at them. All right. So, but I think some of the categories have actually closed as at September as at now. Some of them have, like for example, I know that manufacturing sector has closed. I'm talking about this particular community now. In Alberta, manufacturing has closed. Um, some of them have closed, but people in healthcare and the special services, they are still on as well. You understand? So, but my advice would just be shoot at it. Just don't know the one that works. So shoot at it. But if you have access to know the designated employer, that would be very fine. So you can get detailed, uh, up to date information as regards which one is currently on and which one is currently on. Okay. All right. Yeah. How does the loan work? So the loan is basically we have some ones that we call consignor loans and non-consignor loans. But the ones we do are the ones that don't require you to have a guarantor. So those consignor loans require you to have somebody in Canada that will vouch for you. That okay, I know this person, I know that. But if in case we don't do those ones. But if you have a relative in Canada, they can vouch for you. But the ones we do are the ones that don't even require you. All they will need require from you is they will need to know your bank history here in Nigeria. They will need to get your credit report. So we help you process that one. Then we submit your application to them. So once they see that you have a very good credit. So please, for those of you that are low borrow owing OPay, owing PalmPay, abeg go and pay your loan o, because if you owe those kind of banks, you won't have access to those loans. But if you are on a good level with them, they can borrow you as much as 50,000, even up to $100,000. So depending on terms and conditions, and then they will not split the payment over 5 years, 10 years, and you'll be paying back. And your loan will not start count. They can give you the loan now, but your loan will not start counting until you land in Canada. So someone might ask me, what if I don't get my visa or I don't get it? You are not bound by the loan. The loan start counting once you get there. So those are the things. But reach out to us if you are really interested in getting this done. Okay. Yeah. Let me move on. Can HND holders get the scholarship? No, unfortunately. Sorry. For HND, no. Sorry. For the one in Sweden, no. You need to have bachelor's at least. Now, if you not have bachelor's, if it is second class, you are good. Even if it is third class, you are good. But pass is not accepted. But if it's third class, you can apply for the scholarship in Sweden. Yes, you can have it. And interestingly, those scholarships are fully sponsored, including your living allowance and your dependents. So now they may not categorically take up all the expense of your dependents, but if your dependents are like your children, you have access to getting free tuition education, free tuition education for your children as far as they are under 18, free tuition. So opportunities are there. Just try to harness it. Okay. All right. Can you apply for job? No, I cannot apply for job for you. Me sef, I have job I'm doing. I cannot apply for job for you. Sorry. So you just have to do it yourself. What we can do is package your application. So imagine everybody that we are doing in our community. We have over 1,500 people across our different groups. Now I should not be applying for all those people. I don't have that time now. So please, you have to apply yourself. I can just show you the way and you follow the way. I can show you where to apply to and you apply to them. You understand? I can show you how to apply, but please, you have to put in the work. Yes, you have to put in the work. That's it. All right. Thank you, Mr. Ademola, for the appreciation. Thank you very much. All right. So we have an office in Lagos. All right. We have an office in Lagos. Particularly, we have one in near Unilag, that's in Akoka, Bariga precisely. So that area is in Bariga. You can reach out to us. We also have one in Ikeja, Oregon Ikeja, Mustafa Street, Oregon Ikeja. So if you're in any of those areas, you can reach out to us. You understand? But most of our services are online. Most of our clients are online. Most of our services are online. We can assist you online. So we make our services remotely available so that anybody can check in with us by so doing. All right. Yeah. Can I recommend any recruiter that help foreigners in getting job? Yeah. So foreign recruiters, if you are not talking of employers, we share employers there. Um, but when you talk of recruiters, are you talking about agencies? If you are talking about agencies, I'm sometimes very worried about agencies. So that somebody come and tell me that the agency that you recommended to me asked me to pay 5 million and I did not hear anything. Now, some of those agencies are not fake. Some of them just have their policies. Some of them will require you to pay some amount in order for them to process, let's say, LMIA for you. And once you pay those money, the money has gone. So if it comes, all well and good. If it doesn't, all well and it's the other way. But some of those agencies are actually very legit. But sometimes, they will ask you to pay money for some processing fee and things. But whatever has come, it may be. Some of them have very good success rate, as much as 90% success rate. You understand? But I don't publicly recommend recruiters or agencies in quotes. But if it's to talk about jobs, we do that. All right. If it's talk about jobs, we gladly do that. So with that well said, I really want to appreciate everyone for joining. Thank you for showing up tonight on our call. I hope you really gain value for what you do. Please ensure you subscribe to our channel, join us, and you can consult with us using that link. Just type that link and let us know that you are interested in Canada pathway. Let us know the pathway you are interested in, and we can pick it up from there. Send us your credentials so we can review it and we can recommend the best pathway for you. That well said. Thank you for joining. I wish you a wonderful time. Take care. And once you join, just drop a comment on this particular channel, what you learned and just let's see how good, how appreciative you are if you gain a value or the other tonight. Just drop a comment and we'll see you shortly. Take care. Bye.